seems cold and bleak and you just can't take it anymore. Here it comes, that glimmer of hope. A light shines through the door. It's the hopeless soul with Aaron and Rohit. Whoa. It's the hopeless soul with Aaron and Rohit. Whoa.
Well, this is a fun, hopeless show that we are about to have because I'm going to get to learn and you're going to get to learn about something that I find to be particularly insane, but it gives me a ton of hope because the people who do this have, for lack of a better term, a big set to be able to handle climbing the faces of mountains without even ropes. And I've been fascinated by anyone who has the lack of sanity to do this type of thing, and to be able to talk to an expert in the craft. Joshua Moore is very exciting, and we're going to talk a little about the Dodgers and some other hopeless topics too. But Joshua, it is great to have you on, and it is great to get to learn about something that I think a lot of people find fascinating and insane at the same time. So welcome to the Hopeless Show.
Thank you so much, Aaron. I'm glad to be here, man.
And I guess the first thing, before I want to find out about a lot of things about why in the world you do this and how it all works.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people saw the film Free Solo, and I know you have a great relationship with that film and people involved in it. I just have to first ask, at what is the single scariest, craziest moment where you were just thinking, why in the world am I doing this? Like, what's your, I don't know, closest near-death experience?
Mm, why, man? I don't know. You like start thinking there of a bunch, but
Well, I
I
mean,
think for me,
I'm
man,
here all day.
I
We could talk for hours on this. No, so
yeah,
what's
yeah.
one that comes?
I think for me, I mean, I know the money topic in climbing is free soloing. That's the one that gets the most attention, even though it's like the type of climbing that if you choose to do that type of climbing, it's probably the type that you do the least. But for me, it definitely was during a solo. I was kind of up. I was actually at Stony Point over in Chatsworth in Los Angeles, which is a really historic climbing spot. It's kind of where some of the luminaries for American rock climbing actually started training there. So I was over there. I was doing this kind of this like solo. I mean, it wasn't anything huge. It was like 60 feet high. And I remember I was near the top and like the classic thing happened because normally with soloing you climb way below your limit, like of what you can climb at your max. And yeah, a hold broke. And I
Oh,
and so I when the hold broke, it kind of like makes your whole body like barn door. We call it a barn door when your body falls off of balance and it like swings out. And so yeah, dude, my whole body like barn doored. I don't know how I held on with my left hand, but I did. And I just hear, I mean, you hear it in slow motion, like the hold that broke. You just hear like as it like
what?
crashes against the cliff.
And so
And I
barn
think that
dooring, you're
I,
saying
I think
your
that was the
body
moment.
flies, like your body
Yeah, like I
actually
kind of went
flies.
out on the hold, like it was like a movie almost. I mean, it was kind of crazy. And it kind of all happens in slow motion. And I think that that was one of the moments, one of a few moments where I was like, I don't know why I do this, man. I'm out here in the middle of, this urban climbing area, just doing this thing. No one's like, why do I even do it? It's like I could have
Well,
just, fell off and then my mom doesn't have a son anymore.
Jesus, what? And how did you? Before I ask the question, you just asked yourself, why? How did you save yourself? Because I'm picturing your body flapping in against a mountain 60 feet in the air. How do you regain when there's not a hole there?
Uh, I mean that goes into I mean that's it's hard to tell the process, but I mean I think in climbing and in life, right? Like you kind of have to keep moving sometimes.
Yeah.
And when you're in a scenario like that, it's much, much, much easier to go up than it is to go down at that point. And I think for me, in that moment, at least home was up and not down, funnily enough.
Huh.
So you kind of have to, I mean, you really have to breathe. It really is that simple. I mean, sometimes I even talk to myself like a crazy person. Like, so just sitting there breathing, and I was like, we're good, relax, like a beautiful day. And then you kind of compose yourself and like take in the exposure and like look at, all the nature and stuff. And then, yeah, so I don't know, man. That's part of the secret is like learning how to really identify fear and like learn how to have a healthy relationship with it, right? Like that's kind of the heart of like extreme sports. And
So what does that mean? Because I
yeah.
haven't thought of it in like how do you have a healthy relationship with fear, which I just
Mm.
think is an interesting existential concept.
It is, yeah, yeah. And it's something I like carry with me a lot when I'm not on the wall. Because I think like if you distill it down right, like climbing's pretty pointless. Like, you're gonna like intentionally choose the hardest, effing way to get up something. And you're just like, it's freaking crazy, man. We literally walk off the back sometimes. It's like what?
Why did I do
Um,
this?
and yeah, man, I mean, I've learned that like the best things in life are like on the other side of fear. Um, and for me, that'd be like summits, like these extraordinary like sunsets and stuff that I've seen. Um, but learning to have like a healthy relationship with that fear, like kind of starts, whether you're going to the office that day or like going to the base of a climb. Like for me, I'm always like a little nervous for a big climb. I'm always kind of afraid. Like, and I think fear is what drives us and keeps us alive. It's obviously a survival skill, but having the ability to look at your fear and then say, okay, I'm feeling this. This is the reality of what's going on. But then, like, having that knowing within yourself to be able to move past that fear and kind of see what's on the other side of it, which oftentimes is learning that you're capable of things you didn't even know you're capable of. You have strengths in you that you didn't know you had. You have things in you that you're afraid of that you didn't know you're afraid of. And I think in a lot of ways, man, that's what really determines your success, both in climbing and in life, is like how can I take this fear, recognize it to an extent as like a healthy thing, and then how can I actually use said fear to like empower me to move forward and not like paralyze me, which is kind of what it does, right? Like that's kind of what happens to me sometimes. I get paralyzed in fear.
But then
So I don't know if that
once you conquer
answers
that
the question.
fear, what you're saying is beating fear is a way to grow.
Yeah, for sure. Because I
That's
mean,
that's interesting. It's an interesting concept, and your path. People say like, "Oh, how was traffic getting to work?" And for you, traffic getting to work is climbing up a. But every time you're gaining this next step in conquering a fear,
mm,
therefore growing as a person.
yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
And because I was gonna ask, you said it. Why do you do this?
Yeah.
I think you sort of answered it, but why? What got you started in wanting to do this? Because growing up, when I was like 5, I wanted to play baseball, so I played baseball.
Right.
Way less exciting. So many kids do that. I played soccer too. I played, a lot of tennis, different sports. What made you decide? You know what I'm going to do is this batshit crazy thing.
So funny. Yeah, I was fortunate enough. I grew up, no one in my family climbs. My mom and brother are both petrified of heights and think I'm crazy. Along with
Of
like pretty
course,
much
of course.
everyone else in my family. And yeah, but I was lucky enough to grow up with my grandpa. And he was kind of like a dad figure to me, and he was really big in the outdoors and like hunting and stuff. So we would actually I wasn't really interested in hunting, it wasn't really my thing. Um, but I was really in love with going out in the woods, and we would literally like go out
Where were you?
and
Where did you grow up? Where was
oh yeah,
this?
so this is Ohio actually, believe it or not. Yeah, and I was just a young kid then. I hadn't moved out to California yet. And we were actually out and like backpacking out in the Midwest. And that was pretty fun because like the mountains, there's a lot of weather. And we would go out and we would do like bushcraft and stuff, which was pretty cool. Like going out and like building lean-tos and everything. And so it was just kind of weird. It was kind of like this interesting thing. Um, and then like it's the typical like, it's just kind of like, you know, running around climbing trees and like climbing buildings and stuff. And it actually wasn't until about like 6 years ago, um, I actually went out in Santa Cruz with some friends. And that's when, like, after a lot of mountaineering and backpacking and all of that, that's when I kind of got into like the technical rock climbing, like where it's like hard and like you use your hands and feet. And it's like this whole athletic thing as opposed to mountaineering, which was more of like, trudging through snow and stuff, but not necessarily technical climbing. And I think that when I
Less of
found,
the fear, I get. I mean, mountaineering
yeah,
is
I
a
think
little
so
less of
because it's
that.
not as exposed, it's not as hard. But I've always loved full body sports. I grew up as swimming competitively, and the first time I did like an actual rock climb, it was just this light bulb went off, right? I was like, okay, all of these things, like liking the full body sports, liking being out in the mountains, backpacking, all of that, it all just clicked like in that moment. Like I
Hmm.
remember like walking away and I was like, I think I like found the thing, you know? And yeah, dude, and ever since that moment, I mean, I've climbed like 5, 6 days a week since. Like I just like you couldn't peel me away. And
So it's
you
a
still can't. So
it's an addiction, would you say? Like
a little
the
bit,
rush,
yeah.
adrenaline.
Yeah, a little bit. What's funny and we can get into is I actually don't feel that much adrenaline when I'm free soloing. Like usually I try to avoid that
Really? So how does
adrenalized
that work?
feeling. Yeah. Kind of funny, huh?
Yeah, didn't
Yeah,
expect
people
that.
don't Yeah, so that works with soloing. Um I should make a disclaimer for all of the kids who think that it's like punk rock and badass like
Yeah, which
sorry, I don't know
people
if I
do.
can cuss on here. I cuss a
You
lot. I'm
can.
trying
You
not to.
yeah,
Oh, okay, cool.
you can say whatever you need to say to
And then
describe, but especially what you're describing, I think you're allowed.
okay, cool. And then yeah, but I don't want to be a bad influence, but um soloing, I think for me, like there's nothing in this world that like can produce that type of presence, right? Maybe meditation. But like we'll get to that like for me, like soloing is kind of a moving meditation, right? So
Huh.
that getting adrenalized and like feeling the adrenaline like I did when that hold broke is usually isn't a part of the equation. I would say I feel adrenaline when I'm climbing on ropes actually, and I'm climbing at my limit and I'm in danger of taking like a 20-foot fall or whatever. Even though the rope's gonna catch me, I'm still gonna take that
Yeah.
fall. And I'm also like gripped, like my forearms are like pumping. Whereas like soloing, I'm going to be climbing something that, I usually could climb in my sleep. Usually it's stuff that I've climbed before with ropes a lot. And so for me, a lot of it is rehearsed. And you go and you do it. And the reason that I don't want to be full of adrenaline for my solos is like for me, it's about the meditation. And
Hmm.
each moment, I mean, it's kind of wild, man. Like sometimes you'll be sitting there and you'll be moving and time just kind of slows down so much that you're just taking in every single detail, like you're seeing all of the different granulations and like the rock and like different types of splatters and like dirt and like all of this stuff that you don't even notice when you're on ropes starts to kind of like come alive.
So are you
And
thinking of anything
each
else, or are
move
you just thinking of that moment?
No, I'm thinking of that moment. So that's what
Yeah.
I mean. It's like I don't have time in this. I don't really have time to be depressed or be sad or like think about my bills or like think about, hating my job or whatever. Um so that's why I was like, I don't think adrenaline plays into it because for me that's like you're just totally present. I mean, just in a flow state. There's nothing like it. I mean, from the minute that you step on to the minute that you're off, it's like that's how it should be. The times that I have had the feelings where I'm like, I shouldn't be up here, I shouldn't be doing this, are the times when I get in my head and you start thinking like, shouldn't have said that to my girlfriend. Or like, did I really do that 2 years ago? I'm just kidding.
Sorry,
All
mom.
of these
Sorry, mom.
yeah, so I try to stay away from that stuff, man. I try to stay with it, try to stay in it. Uh,
And and then what when you let's say today you're driving to Yosemite, right? To the valley.
mhm.
And are things going through your head like planning? Are you thinking about the climb, or are you just you already know what you're gonna do? It's second nature, and you're just like jamming out to music or listening to a podcast or something. Like how does it work
Yeah,
that prep before something
it's
big?
funny. Um, it depends on the climb. Excuse me. Usually I just try to sorry, can you hear me okay? They're doing like
Yeah,
yard
yeah.
work out. Um, yeah, usually for me preparing for a climb is like I always like to pretend like I'm not gonna get nervous, but aside from Joshua Tree, which is mostly like just 50, 100-foot climbs,
Yeah,
I like
that's
the
it.
big
No
stuff
big deal.
now.
No big deal.
Yeah, but like I like the big stuff, like I like the, stuff that's like 1,000 feet tall. So like that's gonna be like a bigger day. And so I like to pretend that I don't get nervous, but sometimes I do. Um, but yeah, usually, man, it's a lot of like I'll study the route. We have what are called topos, so like topographic maps. And I actually like drawn um basically like these drawings of the actual route, and like you'll have lines that come up and it'll say like ledge, it'll say like loose dirty crack, like whatever. It gives you all of the info. So I have usually I've memorized that by the time I'm about to do a big climb. So honestly, man, like I usually just jam out to hip hop. I love hip hop, and I just like, just I'm like, this is gonna be rad. I don't I think when we get to the base of the climb, that's when it slowly becomes a little more somber, because it's like you have to get in the zone a little bit.
So what does it start
But
like on the drive? Who are you listening to at first,
oh
and then who?
man,
And then
it's
how does it get more? Like I'm curious what the trajectory of the hip hop artist is from starting the drive
I
to
think
getting close.
I think I'm so stoked, dude. And then by the time you pull up to like the trailhead or wherever the approach to the climb is and the music goes off, and you're
Is
immediately greeted with all of the thoughts you've been trying to drown.
then you're listening to like Kid Cudi, and you're just like, oh man,
Yeah, dude. I know.
this is
Um,
depressing.
it's like, yeah, you're listening to Lil Wayne, like 6'7". You're like, I want to be 6 feet under. That's it. And I'm just kidding.
Yeah, not good.
So just so you know, climbers and like all the outdoor, we have pretty morbid sense of humor. So, so
I mean, I
yes.
could I could already tell just a few. Yeah, it's like, and I know a little about this because you've told me before, but the obviously this whole concept people have seen it. I was in the valley a couple of years ago with my dad, and we were spotting people, doing it and like in the little tents that because for people who don't know, can sleep in the middle of like El Capitan
Yeah,
and
it's
set
called a portaledge.
a portaledge. You could explain it more, but what was your relationship with like Alex and the that whole film that really brought this to the mainstream? It won the Oscar and so on. What was your relationship to that? And then I'm curious to talk a little more about the details of like the portaledge and stuff. But what was your relationship to that film? And I know that you have a funny story about that as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. That whole film was kind of funny, because as a climber, like people had been talking about Alex, and we had all like been around because we were like all California guys in the valley and stuff. Um, Obviously, like it's really hard to climb with those guys all the time, even if you're friends with them because they're so good. Um, but yeah, it was pretty interesting because I remember at the time there was a guy in the valley named Dean Potter. He was another prominent free soloist. Really, really inspiring guy to me. Unfortunately, he died in a wingsuit accident a few years ago. And he was actually trying to free solo El Cap first, which people don't know about.
Hmm.
So Dean was kind of Alex's inspiration, which I find funny now because if you ask him about it, like there's like this respect, but like, kind of this competition. I think that's kind of what climbers we go through. There's like this like underlying competition below it all that like no one really talks about in a weird way. So they're kind of doing that. So Dean was trying to solo El Cap. He unfortunately passed away, and then I think it was like a year later, Alex did the free rider. Um, which was just mind blowing because like all of us like watching this guy over the years like solo things, and every time we were like, dude, you're insane. Like that's an insane thing to do. He just continued to up the ante, Um, and so yeah, it was really funny. I know like there are some of the cats at like Cinder Films and stuff. Like we all like kind of run together. And yeah, the funny story is there was speculation and questioning into whether or not I wanted to participate in the film. And I was all like, hell no, dude. I don't really deal with the Hollywood stuff. And then it went on and won an Oscar.
Ha, and
I
you
was
could
all like,
and
damn.
you could have been in it.
Yeah, it was really funny. It's even this podcast, my girlfriend and my man like they were like, you got to do it. Say yes. So that kind of shows you I think I was trying to learn from that experience.
And what made you decide? You just were like, no. It's almost like, is it like selling out? Like when people say, a musician sells out or something. It's like, no, we're too. We don't do film.
No, it's weird. I don't know. It's more like I don't know. I'd rather be climbing than talking about climbing, I think. I think it really is that simple, Like and I just don't think it was gonna sync up. I think I was, they were like, I know that they were gonna like do stuff. Obviously, I have to film up north and everything. And so yeah, it just didn't really work, which is fine.
Were you
Um
were you around like when that was going on? I'm guessing other climbing was going on. People were around it. It was. Did you guys realize what this thing was, or was it just kind of like, oh, cool? It's just another.
yeah, I think climbers everywhere. I mean, I think everyone was kind of like, wow, it's actually gonna be a thing. And like it was pretty common knowledge at that point that for like the past few years, like at least in the like valley climbing community and Joshua Tree and everything, like people are definitely saying like, hey, these guys have been trying to solo El Cap. Like, did you hear about like Alex? He's been rehearsing the free rider the past few years, like, and everyone was kind of like, is he gonna solo El Cap? And like, um, you know now you see it in the documentary, but it was kind of like that. Like if you were to like ask around, it'd be kind of like it's an idea, but maybe probably not. That thing's scary.
It's
And
too hard. It's like just too. It's too. There's just no way.
yeah, and like there's a great climber who's, one of the most like one of the strongest climbers in the world and to ever do it. His name is Tommy Caldwell. And he was talking in the documentary about how if you're not a climber, you're freaked out, but if you are a climber, you're like really freaked out. Um, and yeah, because the grade at which he is free climbing this thing, I think what people who aren't climbers get is he's climbing this a climbing grade. It goes by the Yosemite decibel system. So think there are classes of terrain, right? There's like first class is like what you're sitting on in your office right now, be completely flat. And then it's basically like second class, third class, fourth class. And then fifth class is when you get vertical,
What you
right?
don't think I'm recording from the side of a mountain right now?
No. That's a fancy portaledge. And then they yeah, and then from there you go like 5.4, 5.4. It's a decibel, Yosemite decibel system, so YDS. And that goes up to 5.9, and then you have 5.10 through 10D. Each one is a grade, so 10A, 10B, 10C, 10D. And then it goes all the way up right now to 515D, and that's how like kind of the climbing grade difficulties.
Huh.
Reason I say all of that is because what's remarkable about what Alex did is that Freerider is 512D, which is already like world class climbing ability. And like for me, I want to free the free rider. I'm never going to do it without ropes. And for me, that would be like a lifetime achievement climbing wise, to like actually free climb the free rider. Um,
But with
and
rope.
yeah, and so that's what made it so remarkable. And I think people lost in the film, they didn't emphasize enough, was that on top of this just being insane, like the difficulty of the actual climbing is just insanely hard. And like he did it without a rope. And it's just
Without
like,
a
it's crazy, man. It really
well,
is nuts.
that was some
Um,
of the shots where they pull out and there's no rope. He's
right.
just in the middle of it. Because climbing something like that, can you just explain a bit how it works from like the sleeping aspect, the like how that works? Because you see these dots when you're looking at different areas where people are climbing, and those are people sleeping. So how does it work with food, with tent? Like how does that all? How does the process work?
Yeah, so for big walling, I mean, there's a joke with big walls that like if you really want to get on top of a big wall, like you just have to be able to suffer. Um,
Mm.
because it really, I mean, a lot of it, like the climbing is a small percentage, and then the rest is just like a lot of blue collar, like put on your bootstraps, like be ready to work. Because how it works is I wish I had them. They have what's a pitch, right? So a pitch is a single rope length. And so that's why when you have something that's large, like El Cap, it's called like a multi-pitch because there are multiple pitches.
Mm.
Um, so how it'll work is you'll have one climber tie in one end of the rope, the second climber ties into the other end of the rope. There are multiple ways to do it, but this is like the way that this is the textbook way. And then you have a guy who climbs it first. Generally, with Yosemite, you don't have that many bolts, so we have what are called like climbing cams. I don't know if you've seen them.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, they're kind of these spring-loaded devices. You pull a trigger, these lobes go in, goes into the crack, they expand out into the crack. And then so when you pull them, they stay in there. And it looks like you couldn't, but if they're placed properly, you could like hang a truck off of some of them. Like it's kind of remarkable how strong they are.
Wow.
And so the person who's climbing at first, they go up and they put those pieces in as they climb up. That's called lead climbing. So you can take larger falls on that. Um, and so generally how the math works is like you put your piece in, and then if I climb 3 feet above that piece, I'll fall 6 feet. So that's why I was saying earlier that like climbing with a rope oftentimes scares me more than the soloing because it's hard, I'm doing harder stuff where I'm allowed to fall. And so yeah, I would go up. I would build an anchor. Um, and then I would use like a belay device, it's just kind of this device that introduces friction to the rope. So that way when I pull slack through, it catches the rope and then it's tight on the person below me. So I pull the rope up, it's tight. They're now on what's called top rope because the rope's coming from the top. You're only, that's something like if you were like I've been guiding my girlfriend on a lot of climbs, like she doesn't lead anything. Like I just guide her up it because she's only going to take like a half a foot fall if she falls. And like it's just a much more chill, beginner friendly way to do this stuff.
Is this
And
because you're unlike caring about how other people might worry about you, you
yeah.
actually worry about her and want to make sure she's
I do,
okay?
yeah. I want her to be safe. And so you come up, and then now I'm bringing my follower up. As they come up, they're taking those pieces out as they're coming up, and they're putting them. They're going to bring them to me. So when I'm ready to do the next pitch, I have all of my gear. And then the fun part about the big walls is usually I would have it. So I've left this out. Let's say I've had a tagline attached to me, which like a tagline is basically just like static rope. It doesn't have any stretch. Like a climbing rope is dynamic. It stretches when you fall, so it like
Mhm.
cushions you. Um, so a tagline is kind of like a really hard rope. Like it doesn't. It doesn't have any give and anything. And the reason is because we have a bag at the bottom that has all of our has the portaledge, food, water, toilet stuff. And then you bring it, you have to bring it up, and it's called hauling. So it'd be lead, follow, haul, and then you kind of just do that as you go up.
And then when do you decide? Because to me, just sleeping on the side of the mountain sounds absolutely terrifying.
Yeah. Well,
So,
you're tied in the whole time. So
oh,
you
no
are tied
problem.
in.
Don't even
Yeah.
worry about it then. Yeah. No, it looks absolutely terrifying. Watching, like looking up and just thinking, I would be the whole time I'd be trying to sleep, which I wouldn't be able to do. I'd be thinking, this is going to break. I'm going to fall. I'm going to roll
Yeah.
over. So, how do you decide when you're going to sleep? And then how do you, I know it's easy for you, but how do you sleep? How do you even do it?
So I know this sounds insane, man, to people who are like, I just couldn't imagine, but it goes back to like that, like you just have to be ready to do some like blue collar work and like, dude, after you've climbed all day and your adrenaline has been pumping and you've been hauling like a 200+ pound bag, I mean, you would be shocked how quickly you fall asleep. Like even in the most terrible of sleeping
And
situations,
is there any comfort to these things? Because
Yeah, yeah. So they're pretty cool. They have like this hollow tubing that it gives it a much stronger support system than say like a normal tent pole. Um, but yeah, they're actually like pretty cushy. I mean, they're obviously, not huge. You're not gonna like host a huge party on them or anything, but like they're they're kind of like
you have a
trampoline almost.
kegger on the side of El Cap.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude, I've seen a lot. I've seen people haul kegs. I've seen people haul Dutch ovens, bongs, like you name it. People haul it, dude.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I try to go light and fast, but other people have different styles, so
That's
um
funny.
yeah, but yeah, man, but it's cool because yeah, like I said, it's kind of like this lighter like tubular material. I don't even know. It's like aluminum. And then yeah, it has like a little tent fly you can put on it too, so then it makes it kind of like a little tent. But you can also leave that off and then it's just this little like trampoline-ish platform. Um that you hopefully don't use as a trampoline, but you know what I mean.
How do you not roll off?
You're tied in. So you um usually like where the portaledge is like anchored and stuff, we have like multiple like complex anchor systems set up where we're like storing gear. Then you have the portaledge, and then you're like tied into the portaledge at all times. Because like sometimes you have to do not so fun stuff like lean over the edge of the portaledge and poop into a bag.
That's not
So
fun.
you kind of have to be, it's not fun, man. But I think that's why climbing partners are so close because like have you ever carried your friend's shit off of a mountain before?
Just 3 times, only 3 times. Not a lot.
Yeah, man. Yeah, they're called wag bags and they're supposed to not stink, but
They
yeah, I don't
stink.
they still stink, man. It's pretty bad.
Oh,
It's like the less glamorous side.
these are the things you don't even think about.
No, yeah, people miss that. It's kind of like all of the fun details though that I love because like everyone, in the TikTok world, everyone's like, this is so badass, so cool. And then it's like, yeah, but there are all of these like unglamorous things about it,
You're like, I'm
where like
hauling shit.
hauling your friend's shit or like crapping in a bag in front of your friends. Like it's not, I don't know, dude. I don't know if you've ever accidentally made eye contact with your best friend while pooping, but it's a bonding experience.
Yeah, it's if I have, it's something that I've put not in one of my
Have
core
you?
memories.
You're,
I think
yeah, ever pressed it?
I've repressed it. Yeah, and so before we just get into a couple hopeless topics because it is the hopeless show, and you're giving me a lot of hope just because this is just there are so many things that you've done and the way that you go about it. It's so relaxed. And anyone I've met who climbs or anything like this, you've got such like a calm demeanor, and you do something that's so batshit crazy. So it's fascinating that everyone, like when my dad, when we were just in Yosemite a number of years ago, just talking to different people who were doing this, everyone's yeah, man, yeah, we're just, we're having a good time. And then we went up, we did the two falls, which then go up to the base of Half Dome, that hike, which is, I think, about 10 miles. And, you know, I thought when we did that, which again it's just a hike. When we were done with that, I was like, yeah, that's a big deal. So, but everyone is just relaxed. It is a calming place. These places have a calm to them, and the people are calm. It's kind of the opposite of that extreme sport thing. Is that what you
Yeah,
find in
yeah, yeah.
general about the people that you're around?
Yeah, definitely. I remember I was hanging out with one of my buddies, and he's a base jumper, and which I think those guys are crazy. I wouldn't do that. And like, but I have friends who do base, and like, yeah, I remember we were at like this bar, and this guy was talking to us, and you know, ended up going to like, oh, what do you guys do? Blah blah blah. And we told him, and he was like, that's crazy. I thought you guys would be like insane people, like just. And I'm like, no, actually, like generally, like pretty emotionally even keel people, shockingly enough, you know. And then it goes back. It's like, well, what type of person would you think would actually like be able to stay cool in those situations? You know, is it going to be like the person who's all jacked up or like the relaxed guy, you know?
And
And
it's the relaxed guy.
yeah, and so, but I also think that it comes from like, we are climbing, we have other people's lives in our hands, and like if you've been around, at least in like big deal like alpine climbing and stuff, like, you've probably seen people die. And I think that it kind of strips away the superficiality of life in a lot of ways because, I think like people get like really upset and annoyed whenever they're like they have to wait at Starbucks too long, and it's like, yeah, but you're like in this air conditioned place, like there's food, flowing water, there's a functional bathroom. You're not going to walk outside and like die immediately, and I
So
think that's
how
where the
have you seen
relaxation comes from. I think it's like you're kind of at ease in the world a little bit more.
and you've
um
seen and you've seen people not make it?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it in person, but like I mainly just, people getting in accidents and stuff. And yeah, unfortunately, because like, I didn't know him, but I knew people who knew him because it's like the community, but that young kid Balin who died
Yeah, recently.
recently. Yeah, that was like, I mean, that kid was amazing, super talented climber, and then just made like a super simple mistake. Which is more common with experienced climbers, like rappelling. Like usually we tie what's called a stopper knot at the end of the rope, and he just didn't do that and just went right off the end. Um, but
Jeez.
people don't see that because it goes back to like, he had been on a big wall for 5 days and he had been going like really hard and he was tired and like, who knows? But um, yeah, and you see stuff like that, yeah, and there was
Puts things in
another.
perspective, right?
It does, yeah. And like you see that and then you like either you're involved in search and rescue or like you have friends who are and like they'll respond to the accidents. And so it's all just really, really close to you if you're involved in it. And
Actually,
yeah,
that's a thing I wanted to, like,
yeah.
I guess a last thing I wanted to ask or talk about is
Mhm.
that one of the things people don't know much is that as a climber, you also help save people. Like that's a thing that you guys do. Is you right? You'll also go out there and help when people need assistance.
Yeah, totally.
So
Um
how does that work? Like when do you do that, and how do people like take turns going and
yeah.
rescuing people?
Um, yeah, so it's pretty easy if you have the skills. They always, they're always looking for experienced climbers. So I guess maybe this is a PSA, really quickly. If you have mountain skills, think about volunteering for search and rescue. They're usually always looking for climbers, um, just because, like especially in Yosemite and Joshua Tree and stuff, like the places where people are going to get into situations where like a rock climber has the skills to like get to these people efficiently and like in the most safe way possible. Um, and so yeah, a lot of it, I mean, I've done the volunteer stuff, man. Um, and so that's easy. I mean, you just volunteer. Um, Usually how it always worked with me, I was always out and about, so like I would have like my in reach and then yeah, you just get a buzz, just little text message, hey, um, if you're around, great. And then like for me, a lot of times when I got those, I was like in a park or something, so then I could just go respond to them.
And then you just go up there and
Yeah,
save
you just
someone's
kind of
life.
go. Yeah, you just kind of go. There are different crews, there's always going to be like the air support, and then there's going to be like trail support. So, um, it just depends on what the person needs. But a lot of times, if the area is walkable, they'll have like search and rescue crews and stuff walking in toward the people as well as like flying in. So it just kind of depends on how they want to do it. So, that's the official.
And that's
Um,
the PSA as well. That's the
yeah,
Joshua
the
PSA is
yeah.
help if you can.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, why not, and then another one, the ones that happen more though, dude, are the ones where you're just kind of out there and like you encounter people.
And
Like
then you just
last
immediately help. Oh yeah, you were gonna say.
yeah, I have to, I don't know. I have to. It's like I can't on my conscience just not do something because
Well, say you were about to say, and this is like I think a good wrap up is you were about to say last recently. You have I think an example.
yeah, last season there was for example, I like stumbled upon this guy. It's like something that happens so commonly. Like a lot of the rescues are this, but I came up and this dude's wife was basically like in the beginning of having a heat stroke type deal.
Ooh,
Um, And yeah, it was kind of bad. They were like way, way out, like 3 miles or whatever into like the Angeles National Forest and stuff. And I was just like, what are you doing out here? And with no water, like heat of the day. Because for me, you're probably asking, well, why are you out there, Joshua? To
yeah,
which I
yeah, yeah.
respond, I'm a crazy person, and for me, it's like conditioning, like extremes. So like I try to like go out into like extreme heat and push my body, like kind of condition it a little bit. Obviously I do that with a lot of precautions in place, so I don't really like encourage that. Um, but for them, they were just normal people, probably went out there early, didn't realize they were going to be as long as they were. And yeah, she was having a heat stroke and um, almost. And it's just nice to know, like you come up, they didn't have water. And it's just nice to have skills like, okay, well, we're gonna like put this wet cloth on her, like let's create a temporary shade, here's some water. And then it's like little stuff that like can make a difference. Like when someone has been without water for a long time, I mean, she wasn't quite long enough, but I don't know if you know this, but like if say you haven't had water in like 3 days and I were to give you water and you chugged it literally send your body into like adrenal shock and like it can kill you. And so
Wow. So
you
you
have to
can't
like
do that.
explain to people, yeah, dude, that's hard. So I had to like explain to them. I was like, look, like you have to do this. I mean, I had a dude one time, he was literally, I mean, I think he was having conversations with death at that point. And I had to tell another situation where a gentleman had that issue, and I remember having to tell him, like, I'm like, dude, it'll kill you. Like, as much as I want to let you just chug this, like, you have to do like these like little like mouthfuls, and that's it. And so
And then you
it's just
saved
like
their life.
little, yeah, and it's just like little knowledge like that that makes a difference. And I just feel this responsibility to step in, and help out, and like kind of be that. So a lot of people don't experience that stuff or haven't ever, and so it's hard for them when this person that they love is suffering. It's hard for them to stay like level-headed and make decisions. So sometimes you got to just be that guy,
This
even if
is
you don't want to be that guy, you
I,
know?
I gotta say to sum this up, Josh, this you're absolutely insane for what you do. This is so cool to learn all about it. And also then you're level headed and then you go save lives while doing, as you said, you're out there. Why in the world are you out there? But then you're helping people and you know how to like then calmly make sure that people do what they need to do. And I was gonna get to like some hopeless topics and we were gonna talk about the Dodgers. Yay, we won. That was amazing. I know you were excited too. It was fun.
Super
But
fun.
this was just so insightful, interesting. I'm sure we'll have questions. And I guess, is there anywhere where people can follow like when you climb, what you like, how you like what you're doing? Because I know there's people are interested in this stuff, YouTube stuff, things like that.
Yeah, yeah, I'm kind of moving toward actually making like some adventure films and stuff. So I'm kind of like trying to get my social media back up. It's private right now, but yeah, you can just follow me on social media. I don't post that much, as in like the actual posts, but my stories are usually always going. So that's kind of a way that you can kind of follow me in real time and like see what I'm up to. So
That's it's and I do, so it's worth it.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah. So
cool.
yeah, yeah. So if people want to follow, and obviously, yeah, they're more than welcome. Like, anyone listening, if you want to DM me and you have any questions, like, do it. Yeah, I'm always open book, man. I'm a normal guy. So
Well, yeah, normal is you know, is in the eye of the beholder. Well, Josh, thanks
yeah.
for coming on. I hope you come on again. I want to talk more. I could talk for hours
Oh
and
yeah, man. I know. Well, yeah, we got to get coffee, man. Like, yeah.
yeah, we're gonna hang
Sometimes
on
you
the
just like
side.
click with people, man. And then when I met you, dude, we just like I don't there's something about your energy and stuff like we just like really clicked. So thanks for the opportunity, man. I appreciate it.
No, and thanks for doing it. And we will on the side. Everyone can be jealous, but we will on the side hang, get coffee, and then
Yeah,
pretty soon I'll be like, "Yo, I'm recording the Hopeless Show from the side of El Cap, free soloing."
we could, dude, if you
That
want.
would be that would be. I have to get into a little bit better climbing shape and about 10 years of experience, but I'll try. So
We'll
thanks
catch
again
you
for
up to
being
speed,
on,
man.
and this has been great. Thanks, Josh.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Aaron.
When the world seems cold and bleak and you just can't take it anymore, here it comes, that glimmer of hope. A light shines through the door. It's the hopeless soul with Aaron and Rohit. Whoa.